What's up, team? Let's take a deep dive into deceleration and building the brakes, stopping on a dime. We're gonna look at just the basics. And what I mean by the basics is we're in a day and age now where there's all these sexy drills on Instagram and TikTok and all these social media platforms and these really cool looking drills, and that's awesome. I love it. I think there's an appreciation to be had, or given rather, for the novelty of things. But let's be honest here. Let's really understand that if we don't master the basics and do the simple things right, the basic fundamentals, the principles, right, then we don't really have any business doing the cool or the sexy stuff. And in my opinion, even the best athletes in the world, you'll notice they always come back to the basics at one point or another, and you should as well. So what I mean by that with deceleration, building the brakes, stopping on a dime, let's look at just the basic stuff that you can begin to implement with your athletes and clients to begin enhancing their athletic performance and their landing techniques and their ability to stop on a dime and then be agile or reactive and change directions, okay? So when we look at the way to coach and to program in our training programs, decel drills, there's weight room stuff and there's court/field stuff. I think the court/field stuff, like on a basketball court, a volleyball court, a soccer field, a football field, so on and so forth, you have to think, if I'm on a field or a court, right, I'm in that sport environment, that sport realm. I'm playing the sport, so to speak. And in that realm, I think it comes down to COD, or change of direction, versus agility. Change of direction is a planned or rehearsed event. For example, I'm going to tell you to sprint to the cone in front of you and then take a hard left turn, sprint to the cone to the left side of you. I'm telling you what to do. There's a planned, it's planned event. I rehearsed it. You know what you're doing. It's instructed. You're coached. There you go. That's change of direction per definition. Agility is the same setup, but there is a level of reactiveness or reactionary component there, where you react to my hand signal, my auditory signal, left, right, maybe a color, a number, something that you have to react to the same way you would in sports. So if you're coaching deceleration drills with the emphasis on stopping on a dime on a field or a court, just know that I would start out with change of direction drills that are planned and rehearsed, and then advance or progress to agility drills which have a reactive component. That way you're making it more challenging over time. That's what I would focus on there. In the weight room, which is what we're doing now with the plyometrics, jumping and landing stuff, I want to simplify into the planes of motion. So we have 3 planes of motion, right? We know what sagittal plane of motion is: forward, back, squats, deadlift, forward and reverse lunges. Frontal plane of motion is lateral lunges, lateral squats, side to side motion. And then transverse would be rotational type of stuff, or twisting, right? So what I like to focus on is frontal plane and sagittal plane first, because you can get really good at those. When you're good at frontal plane and sagittal plane from a deceleration standpoint, it makes the transverse plane, aka like rotational stuff, that much easier, because that's a really complex strategy, transverse plane. So start off in the sagittal plane into a drop squat to stick. I'll show you from the front, from the side. So I'm gonna go right here. Notice what happens at my toes. At the last moment, the toes leave the ground for just a centimeter, and then I stick my landing. So we're here, here, okay? From the front, so again, drop squat to stick, sagittal plane of motion, boom, okay? To advance that, that's bilateral. Now we're gonna go sort of, or pseudo unilateral. So we kind of jab back into a reverse lunge. Same idea, same setup. So we're here, boom, okay? From the front, we're here, boom, okay? Now to make this a single leg variation, just a drop skater squat to stick the whole time I'm on one leg. So we're here, and then we're here. From the front, same idea here. We're here, and then we're here. Now, you can make all of those harder by simply holding a 5 or 10 pound dumbbell in the hands. You could even add some sort of medicine ball you're holding in your hands, a light 2.5 to 5 pound plate. You could use bands. You are the coach, you are the artist. Be creative. You can then begin to get into some other concepts, but again, we're keeping it basic for today. That's sagittal plane. Frontal plane follows the same exact concepts, but now in the frontal plane of motion. So same idea as that drop squat to stick, but now in this frontal plane wide stance lateral squat position. Notice I'm gonna do the same thing with my feet, but I'm gonna land or finish into one hip, okay? So I'll show you from the front, from the side. So we're here. Now from the side, same idea. And then boom, right there, okay? Now we're gonna go pseudo or sort of unilateral, where I'm gonna jab out and I'm gonna lunge into it. So essentially I'm gonna do the same thing I was doing, but it's gonna be a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more challenging now. So we're here, boom. Okay, now from the side, we're here, boom. Now, the last one, which is now unilateral or a true single leg variation, is a simple skater hop. Some know this as a Haydn hop or a lateral hop. So I'm emphasizing the stick here. So we're here, stick, stick, stick. Now from the side, stick, stick, absorbing the force upon contact or impact. That is a very simple way to start coaching and adding in deceleration drills, the basic first layer into your training programs for your athletes.